Yeah, I think the second quarter were in control. They won it back through their stoppage work, and they always, Sydney have been notorious in the last 5, 6, however long years for just bringing the game back when they seem to get away from them. And we're aware of that, but we just couldn't stop it. They kept bringing it back to their style of game, and they beat us in the clearances quite convincingly in the end, and put a lot of pressure on our ball use, and whenever it felt like it was slipping away from them, I think they did a great job in just bringing it back to the way they wanted the game played. So all credit to John Longmire and the Sydney team. It was a terrific win by them.
Do you think you had it won when you saw off their first comeback?
In just after half time, you mean?
Yeah.
No, you never think you've got it won. No, definitely not. We thought almost just needed one more goal along the way, and we just couldn't get it, and things didn't drop our way, and we gave away some free kicks, and we just around the clearances they were better than us, and when you're better around the clearances, it means you can get the game back onto your terms more often than not. So we've got to go away this week and do a bit of work on that area.
Not the first series we've struggled to contain Adam Woods. It looked to us like he probably turned the game forward.
Yeah, he went into in the middle of the ground and turned it around, and that's why he's such a dangerous player. Is that you think you've got him stopped up forward, and he goes on the ball and runs around a bit. And at certain times we pulled him back to our game, but he 5 or 6 minute periods there, he got away from us. So you learn, don't you?
6 goals from free kicks, including the last. I know you've got to be a bit careful of what you say. Is that to do with a bit of ill discipline or just bad luck on the day?
Yeah, I don't think there's any free kicks from ill discipline. I don't think there's any. Maybe a couple of head-high tackles that we could have tackled a bit better and gone a bit lower. But you go back and have a look at the game, and I'm sure there's free kicks that they're not happy with, and there's ones that we wouldn't be happy with. But that's football, isn't it? So we'll get on with next week.
What is it that you want your boys to take out in this game in particular, James?
Oh, I think our boys have had a terrific pre-season and the first round, and almost a bit of a charmed run in terms of the way the pre-season and the first round's gone. And I think today's a really good lesson for our players that footy is the toughest game in the world, and if you don't keep competing in every facet of the game, you can lose games like that. And there's no doubt we had chances to win that game, but we lost, and so we've got to come up next week. So you want to be a good football team, you've got to keep coming back each week and get over losses like that.
Will the lapses more concentration, you think?
I don't think. If you look at the way the game flowed, I think both sides had their periods where they dominated the game, and that's the way the game goes now with rotations, and depends who you got around the ball, and the fact that you're moving guys on and off. I wouldn't call it concentration. I just think that they were able to manoeuvre the game through the stoppages and the clearances probably a bit better than we were.
Yeah, it hard in your mouth. Sorry, Brett. It hard in your mouth that final ball to Shane Warne on Brett Stanton there, didn't it?
Yeah, we had our chance, and sometimes things go your way, and today it didn't. I mean, that could have bounced anywhere, that ball, and it bounced exactly where we didn't want it to bounce. So we're 1-1 and got a big week ahead of us now with St Kilda.
Was David Hill pretty close, or was it sort of unsettling at all with him not coming up?
Yeah, Hilly was interesting. We were close to using Hilly, but it's just not worth it this time of year. He hasn't had a great pre-season. He's got a bit of a sore hip, nothing too sinister, and we're hoping he'll be back for St Kilda. So, Tommy wasn't too bad today, and Tom had a terrific pre-season. So there's no harm in playing form players, which Tommy Belchambers was one of.
Is that a difficult dilemma? Tom seemed to play very well today, so you've got 3 ruckmen in there who all have a great impact. I mean, can you play all 3 together on the same team?
I wouldn't think he'd play all 3 too often. We maybe saw a chance today if Hilly came up to play all 3, but that'll work its way out as the season goes on, whether you can play all 3. But the speed of the game and the fact you need runners make it very hard to play 3 ruck.
You spoke a lot last week about the need for the team to back up its really good round 1 performance this week. Do you feel like the players did back it up and were just beaten by a better side, or did they drop their guard?
I don't think they dropped their guard. I think they performed admirably today, but didn't perform well enough. And you don't want to perform well, but not well enough too often, because the season slips away from you. So, I wasn't unhappy with their effort. Put it that way.
How did you rate Michael Hurley's game today?
Hurls was terrific. Yeah, I mean, Hurls is just a player who's keeping on climbing up the AFL ranks in terms of the way he'll be looked. And I think a lot of the work that Michael does doesn't get seen because he doesn't actually get a possession, or we might not even get a possession, but he enables, he beats a 2-on-1 and keeps the ball in our forward line, or he does get a goal, he gets the ball out. He's just a terrific player, Michael, and I hope for his sake and for our sake, he stays healthy, and we just keeping a lot of good football out of him because he gives absolutely 100% every week.
You settled on playing him at centre forward. Can he do that? Because he has switched roles a lot in previous years.
Yeah, at the moment we'd like to keep him there, but you never know what happens with his side and where you get injuries or where you get form. But ideally, he's best up forward for us, we think.
Was Winderley a bit of a knock towards in there? Or?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't caught up with who's sore and who's not, but I think we've got through this week pretty much unscathed. I thought that last week, but we didn't. So it takes a few days for things to come up, but in terms of obvious injuries, we look pretty good.
Does Gambleton come back next week?
Scotty's a chance. Yeah, Scotty's a chance. It just depends really on, I suppose, what we think their weaknesses are in St Kilda. And Scotty went okay, had 7 shots at goal in the reserve, so he's put himself up there with a chance.
And Lava Murray as the sub 2 weeks in a row. Is that as many weeks as you think a bloke can be a sub?
Yeah, it's a difficult decision, and he played very well in that quarter. Like, he really gave us something, and in hindsight, maybe we should have brought him on a little bit earlier. But I wouldn't rule him out this week, but you wouldn't want to go too much longer than maybe next week as a sub.
And people talk about, obviously, this is stress with the coaching keeper. I mean, how were those last few minutes for you? Or do you able to sort of keep pretty clear head and everything when it was all going?
I'm not sure it was clear. The box was pretty loud. But there's not actually a lot you can do. Like, you can try and move things around and you can move and shout and whatever, but it is what it is in the end, and we weren't good enough today.